Streaming to you live from beautiful Briny breezes. It's the Jack Taylor studio, and it's time for the Sullivan Show. Good morning, Briny. January 23rd, 68 degrees. Nothing like the sound of rain on a hot tin roof. I tell you, that made my night last night. Maybe some of you were awake to hear it, or were awoken by the thunder. It was quite a storm. We have a great guest today, but I'm keeping that in suspense. Got to hold your breath. Well, it was another great week at Briny. The highlight, of course, was the Good Music Show on Tuesday night. And the woman performer certainly broke the house down. She had a lot of pep and energy. Carol Ellis and George Brinks do a great job. George was laid up and couldn't make it, but he's driving around the park, so I guess all is well with George. There were, let's see, what else? Oh, I can't read my own handwriting. All right, hopscotch in the park for headlines. Of course, we have bingo tonight. Yes, bingo. The bingo lady told me to make sure everybody knows about it. Tomorrow, we have the hot dog lunch put on by the swim club, 11:30 in the auditorium, $5. It's a deal, but the real part about the hot dog lunch is meeting your fellow Brinyites. The hot dogs are maybe superb, but it really is quite a social event, 11:30 to 1, and everybody has to have lunch, so come on up with your $5 bill. You'll have a great time. The Beach Club is, as usual, on Wednesday. Last week, another huge jackpot. Everybody seems to be liking to get up there at that time of day. And Thursday night, make that, at the Boating and Fishing, the first dinner of the year. Dinner dance, I should say, catered by 2J's, not to be missed. And Saturday night is the New York, New Jersey dinner dance. Always a big hit, and it's you can try Mary Jo Fioresi, and if you still haven't got your tickets, she might have an opening. We're delighted to have today the owners, publisher, editor, sweepers, everything at the Coastal Star here. Welcome, Mary Kate and Jerry.
Good morning.
It's Mary Kate Lemming and Jerry Lauer, who have been guests in the past, and we're always delighted to have them and hear what's going on the Barrier Island. That's where we live, right? The Barrier Island?
We do.
So what is how big is the service? Where does the paper go? I know the price is right. What is that price?
The price is free. We are supported entirely by our advertisers. And we're able to do that because this is such an attractive market for them to reach.
Yeah.
We distribute from the Broward County line, so all through Boca Raton, Highland Beach, Delray Beach, Gulfstream, Briny breezes, Ocean Ridge, Manalapan, Hypoluxo Island, and South Palm Beach.
Oh, South Palm Beach too.
As well.
Yeah.
So we stop at the town of Palm Beach.
Right, keep them people separate.
Keep those people separate.
Yeah, right.
They have their own newspaper.
This time of year, we print about 18,000 copies of the paper.
Really?
Some people get them in the driveway of their home. Some people get them in the mailroom of their mobile home parks or their condos.
All right.
Other people pick them up at restaurants or libraries, places like that.
Now, they're not new offices, but how long have you been in your new office?
A little over 2 years.
So they're just up the block, as you may know, next to what used to be the bank, as you may know. Bank that everybody used and then disappeared.
Right.
We consider ourselves to be as surrounded by Briny as anyone possibly could be, because if you open the door and listen a little bit, you get to listen to the Chiselers Club hard at work.
Wow, that could be dangerous.
Good neighbors.
And you used to be across the street, and that building went residential, eliminated commercial. Is that correct?
That's correct. The building we used to be in, where people still sometimes wander over looking for a copy of the paper, the people who own that, the Civitellis, converted that from being 4 apartments and 4 or 5 businesses. Now it's 5 apartments. They're all 2-story. They all have a spiral staircase. They're looking for tenants.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's now a deep blue.
Right.
Gray.
You don't really actually notice it anymore, because of the color.
Yeah.
One of the odd things is, here at Briny is we have our deli, we've got our drugstore, we've got our hairdresser, and we got our gas station. So we're the hotbed, even though a tiny town, of activity. And the Nomad, of course. Who can forget the Nomad? But what else is there commercially on A1A?
Well,
Broward County to South Palm Beach.
across the street from Nomad, in what had been a bank,
Right, I remember that.
there is the offices for a company called Restaurant Holdings. We all know that as help.
Rappaport?
No,
City Oyster?
no, it's beside the by Two Georges.
Banana Boat.
Banana Boat, right?
Well, they also
and
And Prime Catch.
They own
And
Prime
Prime
Catch.
Yeah,
Catch.
their
I'm sorry.
offices are in that bank building.
Oh, we're going to talk about Prime Catch
Right, and
a little later.
And then there is also a doctor, a physician, who's moved in there. Good physical therapy oriented kind of physician. Last name's Chapman. And there's a suite of lawyers who occupy the second floor.
Fantastic.
And the Florida Coalition also has a small office in that.
I knew the Florida Coalition, and maybe we ought to chat about that. The Barrier Island and global warming and the effect on the Barrier Island.
Well, one other thing on commercial, just because
Okay.
people who've been away may not know, is that there's a Publix coming into Plaza Del Mar in Manalapan. They should be breaking ground probably this summer,
This summer.
I believe.
So the waiting lines at Johnny G's is going to be even longer?
Probably so.
Yeah.
The theater beside John G's goes away.
Really?
Yeah, it gets bulldozed.
That's where the Publix will land. The grocery that's in the middle of that mall goes away and becomes parking.
Isn't there a little plaza there where people can dine at the restaurant?
Yeah.
Right, that will get
It'll
relocated.
become part of Publix.
Oh,
That'll
okay.
get relocated.
Well, we certainly need more Publix, that's for sure. That's an interesting development at the theater, especially because we've been up there, and when I can afford it, I go to John G's. When we have people from out of town to impress them. So one of the big effects of after Matthew we saw is that beach erosion and water temperature, and the hurricane went very far, as did the Sandy a couple of years ago. What do you have any thoughts about global warming and what is going to happen to, what has happened to our beautiful ocean line?
Well, I think what people need to be thinking about is how we're going to build our infrastructure to support it. I mean, I don't think anybody is going to say that it's not happening. It's obviously happening. And I think you're going to start seeing cities along the coast, through their planning and zoning departments, start to change how high property has to sit off of the ground to keep flooding from happening. And road levels will change. Seawalls are going to be a big issue. They're going to have to get taller as well.
Seawalls not by the dunes. By the dunes? Build
No.
them? No, you mean on the intercoastal?
On the intercoastal side.
Oh, okay.
Because, it's all connected. You've got the inlets, the water comes in, it piles up. It actually gets higher on the intercoastal side than it does on the ocean side.
Very interesting. So and have you living here for, how many years you guys have been here? You've quite a while, huh?
33 years.
Yeah, 33 years.
And Mary's right.
Typical Michiganders. They come down, they stay.
Mary's right. The biggest impact along the Barrier Island, and especially here in Briny, has been on the intercoastal side, much more pronounced than on the ocean side. And the steps that the corporation have taken in the last few years to beef up the seawalls has made a real difference. And now that they've ironed out the pavement and the pump system, I think this next fall will be a real a real tell for Briny in how much they're controlling the amount of water that's coming in from the intercoastal. But over time, we're going to have to go higher. Over time, one of the things that's going to happen is FEMA, the Federal Emergency
Management Agency.
Thank you. At some point, they're going to turn around and say, well, 7 feet's no longer high enough. Now the base elevation for, I'm putting on my planning and zoning hat here, I'm sorry. At some point, it sounds like it's going to be 9 or 9.5 feet will be the next step.
And what is it now?
7.
It is 7, but we're not at near 7, are we?
There are parts of Briny where the ground elevation is below 7.
Yeah, that's what I
And
thought.
so that's one of the reasons that many of the units that are on the west side of the intercoastal are on substantial concrete piles or poured
Slabs,
foundations.
yeah.
So by being proactive, we really we're smart.
We're very smart.
Hear that, Briny? It's a smart place we live in.
2 years ago, the golf course in Gulfstream took a proactive step. They brought in over 1,000 truckloads of dirt to raise the level ever so slightly in a part of the course that flooded routinely. And you'll see a lot more of that kind of thing happening along the intercoastal.
Oh, okay.
And of course, sand on the beach is going to be an issue as well. And where the sand comes from is already becoming a hot topic.
Yeah, after Matthew, we lost part of the beach, but sure enough, it came back bigger than ever. But talk about where the sand comes from. I'm not familiar with that.
Well, part of that sand that we're enjoying now in Briny Breezes,
Yeah.
many of you remember 2 years ago there was a big beach renourishment program that was happening up at the park, the Boynton Beach Park in Ocean Ridge.
Ocean
The
Ridge.
inlet.
Right.
The inlet and then further south at the
Okay.
public park there. Most of that sand has been busy migrating. Sand drifts to the south. It's called littoral drift. And it's here in Briny, and we're enjoying as white a beach as we've
I don't want you to be literal, Jerry.
There are a couple homes in Ocean Ridge, however, that have just asked for an emergency order to be able to put in seawalls and additional sand because it's so eroded on their property.
Oh, I thought that was because of random gunshots throughout the town. I'm in charge of humor.
That's
I'm
another
in charge
story.
of humor. I gotta. Well, that's really very interesting. Is there anything you think Briny should be doing that it's not doing, or at least we seem to have a very active committee on that, I guess, anyway.
The best thing I think Briny can be doing is what it's already doing. I mean, well, the comprehensive plan was an important step for Briny. They needed one that would last for 7 years is what they are good for, and then you have to revise them. But I think the new mobile homes that we're seeing come in that are more storm-worthy because that's how they're built is really important for Briny.
If they're going to last, yeah,
If
that's
they're
true.
gonna last.
Yeah. Well, our housing is very ancient. My unit is quite old,
Mine too.
and sure enough, I'm getting old too. So there you go. Can't stop time. What about other towns? Do you see? Are they doing anything different, or is everybody equally active? Well, you said high rise. Now there are no high rises on A1A, are there?
Well, the condos, there's lots of high-rise condos.
Where? Oh, South Palm Beach.
South Palm Beach, Highland Beach.
Oh, Highland Beach has high rise?
Oh,
It's all-
Highland Beach feels like a canyon of condos at
Yeah.
times.
Delray Beach has some high-rise condos on the island as well.
Well, let's switch into what's near and dear to everyone's heart, the Winn-Dixie Riverwalk project. What do we know about that, and is it going to go through?
It has gone through. The city of Boynton Beach has approved it. The only thing that hasn't gone through is I don't know that the developer has the financing he needs to do it yet.
Oh, okay. Now, it got through, I understand, on a 3-2 vote.
Correct.
As many of you may recall, I'm a big believer in unanimous votes, because the boards that I've served on, if a member of the board has an objection to the proposal, you try to satisfy that objection. Sometimes you can't, so it's 8-1 or vote, or 7-2. But usually that's the way boards try to operate. And it's quite dangerous to have huge things happen by such a narrow vote when people are elected every 2 or 3 years. So, it's like the three have a huge an effect. And I think, vis-a-vis a high-rise, when we heard 10 stories, nobody was happy about that at all. And are they going to get 10 stories out of it?
They got 10 stories. The city gave them permission for that. And I think that, to be honest, I think that was really the only questionable thing about the project. They had already, and this is where, I always like to say things really do happen at the planning and zoning level. The city staff had already proposed that be 7 stories in that location. The 10 stories, the added height, all came with bartering between the developer and the town. And if there were a lawsuit that were to come up over this, you're right, a 3-2 vote plays prominently in a lawsuit. It would be over how the city gave that extra height.
Yeah, that's, looking to Fort Lauderdale, we went down for lunch with some people the other day and got down there in no time at all until we got to Federal Highway. And then we moved about 20 feet, per minute. Because you look around, there are all these high rises. That's a lot of people, a lot of cars in a very concentrated area. So
it's a lot of people and a lot of cars in a community that still thinks it's a 2-story community.
It's a beach community.
You get into downtown New York. It's all taxi cabs. Nobody takes their own private car downtown in New York and expects to get anywhere with any speed. We all still think that we should be able to drive through downtown Fort Lauderdale as if it were I-95.
Right.
And it's a bad, I think it's a bad mix. And
that's what I would have thought, that the Boynton planning would really focus on height as a huge thing. But I see over by the Hurricane Alley, what used to be the Dolphin, they're building right to the street line, the sidewalk line.
Right.
They're building right to the street, and
So who proposed that? The board commission? Because, not to dominate the conversation, I want to hear what you say, but when you appoint a development officer, he immediately or she immediately thinks, oh, they want more development. They don't think, if they don't have development, I'm out of a job. So it can really bite you in the back, as it did in the town where I live now, where everyone was asleep, but we didn't realize. And she thought she was doing a great job. She, in my view, didn't. But
yeah, you're absolutely right. And using Florida as an example, when they renamed the Department of Community Affairs, which was supposed to be this umbrella organization that watched over projects in the state.
And how they impacted neighboring communities. That was a big part of their role.
So they renamed it the Department of Economic Opportunity. So you would think that just by the title change that they think that the job is to go create more opportunities and build. And
well, I don't like to be cynical about government, but that's what they seem to do a lot,
And I think with urban planning right now, at least in South Florida, and I've heard people actually say this, that they want to do density near the coast, which infill is not a bad planning idea. But their thought is that, well, we just build it and then we'll figure out how to do the transportation later.
Yeah, the town of Boynton Beach has gone so far west. I had to go out to Hagen Ranch Road.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there once before, and I could not believe the development. Of course, obviously, it's all single family or low-rise townhouses. But all those people want to go to the beach. Well, maybe they do, I don't know, but it's going to be hard to find a parking spot over here to walk to the beach.
They do plan, well, the county, and a lot of that is county actually. Boynton Beach doesn't go much further west than the Super Walmart out there. But the county is going to have a big problem. Up in the Gardens area, they're building something like 13,000 new homes, the new communities going in, and the county's going to have to find places for them to go to the beach. And the Inlet Park up here will be expanding, I'm sure, soon. There is some vacant land there, and I'm sure that they'll be turning it into parking before long.
So we're blissfully delighted to be here on the Barrier Island. I mean, it's the best.
It is, and we should be happy to be here.
And everybody who visits, someone was saying that when Shirley McLean was here, she said, do you people know what you have? And everybody does. But what does the effect of the activity on the other side of the Intercoastal have on us?
It's going to make us want to stay here more. We're going to want to go across the bridge that much less.
Well, actually, the Riverwalk project, that's going to be a tough, it's going to take a while to build it.
Yeah.
And so is Prime Catch going to move?
No, Prime Catch owns the property that they are on. So this development is going to have to work around them.
Oh, really? I thought Prime Catch sold.
No.
No? Oh. And and what we were just talking about, Banana Boat, they live where?
Their offices are right
their
next
offices.
door.
Oh, so we could have a march.
Yeah.
That would be good.
You're asking about the impact. Undoubtedly, the traffic that will happen at the base of our bridge at Woolbright and Federal will increase, if nothing more than for the first few years while the construction project's going on, and there's a nonstop parade of concrete trucks and workers.
Well,
the other thing I think that's going to be really important for the Barrier Island communities is to negotiate hard with the larger towns for fire rescue service. We need to make sure that we get what we need as far as response time goes. The state demands a certain level of response time, but I think we want even better. There was a movement to put fire rescue over here that all the coastal towns looked at.
I think we talked that about last year.
But as usual, being a fiscally conservative place on the island, nobody wanted to pay for it. So we're going to have to, if we're not going to pay for it, then we need to negotiate hard with the people who do provide it with us.
Well, we appreciate your reporting on all that. You did great reporting on the town council meetings, not the corporation, I mean the town of Briny. Because, here in Briny, the town has no way of reporting to its citizens. There's no methodology, there's no radio, TV, newspaper. So unless you guys tell us what's happening in the town, I mean, most people don't realize we got the deed to Old Ocean after all these years. But it was in your paper, so we appreciate it. And the fire contract that we just, or the police contract rather, that was, since it came up, it was not even on the agenda, I don't think. It just came up out of the blue that the Boynton made an offer. And sure enough, they won the day. By a 3-2 vote also.
By a 3-2 vote also, yes.
So we have to be vigilant and supportive of our town council and advise them. In fact, I spoke on that at the shareholder meeting, that the corporation should be more proactive because it's basically the corporation's money.
I would agree with that, and I think because they don't broadcast, people don't realize how hard the town commission works. They work very hard. They do
everyone tells me that, yes, and so here's a little applause to those, the mayor and those 5 people. Well, which leads me into a segue into crime. Crime. Is there crime on the Barrier Island?
There is crime on the Barrier Island. Our neighbors in Ocean Ridge had a purse stolen out of a car just 2 days ago. A lot of it is that kind of crime of opportunity where people leave car doors unlocked and leave valuables in the car. There's been a rash of that over the last year.
Well, last year, just about exactly this time, we had 7 cars broken into on Ruth Mary. But they were all looking for change, and they weren't exactly broken into. They were all left unlocked. And Hal Hutchins was chief then, and he did a great job. Called up that Monday morning and reported, because instead of 11, it was, people said, oh, 40. It was all over the park. Well, that's the way rumors spread. But that type of crime, he was almost sure, were youths looking for drugs, drug money.
That's almost always the case.
And I see that in other communities that I have friends in, not here in Florida, but up north. The rise of drug crime, and it's very, very risky for them because they want the money fast, and they'll do some crazy things to get it. But generally, I'd say there's not too much crime on the Barrier Island. I mean,
There's really not. It tends to be
if you were a criminal, this would be you got to go across those bridges, and obviously, Winn-Dixie will stop anybody going across that bridge for a while. But Boynton, what about Boynton? Does that have crime on the increase or decrease? You did that great article with the graph of how many things, but there weren't too many. Well, there were no felonies, I don't think, on the Barrier Island.
Right.
Which is a good
Well,
thing.
there is now with our vice mayor. He's charged with 2 felonies at the moment.
That's so we have that going on, and we have the Freedom of Information Act guy down in our neighbor to the south in Gulfstream. Where are reasonable minds? This seems to, and they all get lawyered up. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't say liquored up. I said lawyered up. Come on.
Well, sometimes they get liquored up, and I think it's guns and liquor don't go well together.
So, and of course, that got great publicity in the Palm Beach Post because they love that type of scandal. So the guy he was sitting with up here was an officer, right?
He was one of the lieutenants on the police force.
A lieutenant?
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's good.
So he was number two in the department, but they've since relieved him of his responsibilities.
Although he and his
lawyers,
Police Benevolent Association attorney are appealing that decision at an upcoming meeting.
That's something. Well, I saw in our Bugle, though I don't stay attuned too much, Briny, that we're putting in cameras here. I'm an anti-camera person, but cameras, at the pool, I don't get the idea. But are you guys have an opinion? Do you see a lot of cameras up and down? I know Ocean Ridge was looking into cameras.
They still are, and I think most of the residents of Ocean Ridge would really like to see them, but where they want them at is at the entrances to the town, and all they are is license tag readers.
Yeah, well, I don't object to that.
Yeah, because I think it's a police tool, and it helps them see if it's a stolen car,
but,
that sort of thing.
A large group of us, go skinny dipping over in the pool, and this could be quite embarrassing. So we don't.
You have to maybe think of a way to make some money off of it.
And Boynton Beach still has the. We're gonna make believe she didn't say that. The cameras on traffic lights. Boynton is the only one that has them going on, huh?
No, they've stopped them.
They have?
now as well.
Because that was just a moneymaker for the camera manufacturer. They weren't free.
The city did make money off of them, and that was part of the legal problem.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. It's nice if they have a fundraiser and people make donations. So one of the questions I had for you, what was the most amusing event? But we've already covered about 4 of them in 2016. Or how about in your office? Go ahead.
I think I remember one. There was, over the summer, there was a low-speed chase along A1A. There was a gentleman who was, I believe, intoxicated, who led police on a 20-mile-an-hour chase down A1A from, I think, the Boca border all the way to the inlet.
Was it a motorized golf cart?
No, it wasn't. Manalapan ended up throwing out stop sticks to stop the car, although it was only going 20 miles an hour.
Listen, we got to at least end with something about the arts, because everybody loves the art section of your paper. The restaurants, but also what's going on. You seem to have quite a few good editors, good writers anyway, telling us what's happening. And that's a tremendous service, so you're to be applauded. Do you have any little answer? What's going on in the arts that we should be doing?
Well, Boca Festival of the Arts is coming up, and I would really recommend that. It's fairly inexpensive. It's easy to get to. There's plenty of parking. It's all in Meisner Park, so there's free parking.
Everything in Briny is $2.
Well, it's more expensive than that.
Well, $5 for good music it was, yeah.
But you have your art show coming up, and that's always a big hit every year.
Yes, it is. Last year, at the end of the year, I did a little write-up on how the 90 days went. and I had never really published it, but it was I was waiting for April 1st to take a break. I don't have a place in Nassau. Well, I can't believe the time is up. You guys, as usual, fill the airwaves, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come in. Mary Kate, Jerry, have a great week.
Thank you.
So that's it for now, Briny Breezes. Have a good day. Stay out of the thunderstorms. Take care. Sound off? Definitely.